So in 2013, we're finally getting a Star Trek sequel, 4 years after the franchise was successfully revived via an alternate universe. What took so long? Especially since Paramount greenlit a sequel before the first film was even released? Now, while all the key people signed on the dotted line for a sequel back in 2008, naturally they couldn't begin to make the movie until they had a script. You can only do that when there's a writer's strike. But alas, Paramount was about to discover that writers Alex Kurtzman and Roberto Orci were kind of unofficially on strike, backburnering the gig. Who backburns a Star Trek sequel? Well, coming off of the first Star Trek, the duo, formerly TV writers, finally had a respectful hit after cutting their teeth on Mission Impossible 3 and Transformers. And other tempting deals came a-courtin'. First, Kurtzman and Orci dedicated their efforts to try and launch a lock-and-key television show, both writing and producing, but the project fizzled. Then they got tangled up in another comic book project, Cowboys and Aliens, which looked very promising when Robert Downey Jr. was attached, but even though this project made it to a screen, it too fizzled. Also at the same time, Kurtzman was focused on his directorial debut with People Like Us, a film he'd also written with Orci and where they'd used their Star Trek connection to get Chris Pine to star. Speaking of Chris Pine, this delay was not exactly doing wonders for his career. Not only did he get talked into starring in People Like Us, another project which fizzled financially and critically, but he was stuck in a holding pattern, not only waiting for the Star Trek script, but also a script for the new Jack Ryan reboot. It must be frustrating to be both the new Captain Kirk and Jack Ryan, yet be benched while other parties pursue other opportunities. As a result, Pine's star hasn't risen as one would expect, with Unstoppable his only solid but not spectacular hit post-Star Trek. In fact, his other two films were huge flops. Meanwhile, Kurtzman and Orci kept tweeting that the Star Trek sequel script was coming, but it didn't. Why didn't J.J. Abrams light a fire under them? Truth be told, Abrams at that point wasn't even sure he wanted to direct. Instead, he was producing a gabillion other projects, Mission Impossible 4, and trying to cement a television empire, all while also directing his ode to Spielberg, Super 8. Plus, he didn't like that Paramount was insisting Star Trek II be in 3D. But when Super 8 fizzled, suddenly the opportunity to direct the sequel became a lot more valuable because he needed to get his mojo back. So finally, in January 2012, production finally began on the now titled Star Trek Into Darkness, with the release date of May 2013 in IMAX 3D. And 2013 will be a good year for Chris Pine, as the new Jack Ryan will also finally hit theaters in December. And Paramount is following the publicity blueprint that Warner Brothers used for The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises via I Am Legend and Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, releasing a 9-minute preview in front of the IMAX showings of The Hobbit. Are you as excited for the Star Trek sequel as you were 4 years ago? And do you think Hollywood should let talent drag their feet on important projects like this, especially when it's because they're favoring other projects? Be sure to share your thoughts down below. I'm Grace Randolph, and this has been a Movie Bite. You can watch more right now.